Hello, my crafty friend, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's very exciting air quote junk journal flip through video. And I say air quotes because the big, giant, overstuffed, opulent book that I've made this week can't really be called a journal. It draws from elements of junk journal inspiration, such as all the trims and tassels and things, but it's not really made of junk and it's not really a journal. So there we go. Welcome to my paper doll wonderland dream world fantasy landscape whatever of a book. Without further ado, let's get into what this actually is. So recently, my friend Kat Stone sent me the coolest gift ever, which was a book that she handmade, and the book contained a set of paper dolls that she hand painted. And along with that, she gave me the most beautiful blessing of all, or the most beautiful inspirational gift of all, which was the go-ahead to print them out and use the images in my own art and do with them kind of what I'd please. So thank you infinitely for that, Kat. This entire book was inspired by your work here, obviously. So what I've done, I had her paper doll and all of the dresses that I've just flipped through here professionally scanned. And then I just kind of arranged those scanned files onto into a paint program so that they could print out using kind of the most efficient way possible, or I tried to make them as efficient as possible, laid out just on printer paper. And then I designed a set of printable backgrounds and magical doorways that this paper doll can kind of live in and explore. And I've used all of those to make this stunning book here. I really, really love it. So the closure is just a black satin ribbon. It's removable and it's wrapped around this back fabric, which it's just a gorgeous piece of embroidered fabric that my dear friend May sent me from Saudi Arabia. So thank you, May. I'm finally getting around to using this favorite piece of mine. And also happy birthday if you're seeing this in time. Anyhow, I put a pretty thrifted brooch in the center of that bow just to be beautiful. And I'm sorry about the lighting today. I'm filming in a new place and I'm still kind of trying to find the optimum filming spot in this new house. So I'll kind of watch this over when it's finished and see how it is. So thank you for your patience with me as I get settled in this new place. I'm just gonna set a bag of trims here to prop up this book because it kind of needs some help. So what I had tucked right under that ribbon is just a little mini journal that I made to kind of go with this book so that there's something that can be journaled in. The cover is just kind of a crazy quilt of different upcycled fabric bits. And then I've stuffed it with some various goodies. I actually made this book about a year ago when I was first kind of learning what junk journals are, and did some stenciling and coffee dyeing and collaging, just kind of experimented. But this is kind of an afterthought. This is sort of my gift with purchase to whoever buys the paper doll book. That really cool French fairy tale castle stamp is something that I try to put into as many journals as possible. But anyway, as you can see, lots of blank paper for journaling, for collaging, for noting down little ideas or phone numbers or what have you. So I'll set that aside. And this cover piece is just a gorgeous gold embroidery bit on some net sari that I overlaid on some blue fabric, and then I trimmed it with some fussy cut sari trims. and some really fun, colorful pom-pom trim. And then opening it up, we have the first page. And I'm hoping this is all visible. Maybe I'll try raising the camera just a little bit. I can't tell whether that worked or not. But my apologies if it's cutting out. I'll try to kind of show the book like this throughout so you can see everything. Anyway, there, maybe that lays more flat now. What I've done is I've taken each of the background images that's from the printable kit, printed them out, and then folded them in half, and then glued them to each other. And that way the entire image is visible as a full page. In fact, let me know if anybody would like a tutorial video for putting together a book like this one. I don't want to flip ahead too much. No spoilers. But let me know if you'd like a tutorial for this, or also to see how I've done the dolls. And I'll see if I can do one. Anyhow, this is how Kat's doll looked once I printed her out, and I cut a backing. Like, I fussy cut first the doll, then I placed magnets kind of underneath throughout wherever I thought the clothes would go. And then I glued some wallpaper as a backing, and then edged the whole thing in some gold acrylic paint, just so that it looks solidly glued together. So on the front page, she is standing in front of this very mystical golden gateway that I designed to be her first magic closet. And when you open the doors to that closet, we find her first outfit. And that's all magnetic. I'm just going to take this bracelet off because I realize the tassel is making weird sounds on the paper. But turning the page, we have another magical doorway, this time for her to go outside and explore the world. There's also a pocket made of some pretty sari trim in which I put her second beautiful outfit. And isn't that a pretty one? So the third page, I think I'll take her outfits off and put her back into her bathing suit, because this is meant to look like a beautiful palace indoor pool. And the bottom is made out of these fussy cut sari fabric flowers so that she can actually lay down in the bubbles and kind of float on the surface of the water and enjoy herself in that pool. Next, we'll want to probably put her clothes back on because it's a stunning Middle Eastern inspired spice market. And then the next page, this might just be one of my favorites. So I put into the pocket a genuine Victorian scrapbook card showing some bluebirds of happiness, other kinds of birds looking down into a bluebird nest. So that's some genuine paper from the late 1800s. But on this page, we have sari fabric that flips over to reveal a scene within this beautiful tent. Kind of an Arabian tent, like a Bedouin tent. Only I designed it to have bookshelves and comfy pillows and a mystical sunset in the background. And doesn't she just look beautiful in that spot? I couldn't resist adding some ephemera pieces to the pocket. So even though it's not really a junk journal, it still has some junk journal elements. This beautiful stage was inspired by the colors of lapis lazuli, a third eye mystic gemstone, and just stunning lavish gold. So I imagine her to be some kind of a singer or dancer, performer on that stage. And now we have something that looks like it's from an aquatic realm to house her beautiful mermaid costume. And by the way, all of her outfits have magnets between layers of wallpaper and the print with the gold, just like the doll. So you don't have to mess around with, you know, where her shoulder strap should go, or how she should be, how to position her dresses. That's all kind of done. But isn't this fun? And the reason I put these lavish kind of sari trim and other borders on every page, we don't need that bag anymore. I put all that stuff around the edges because my printer doesn't print full page. It always has kind of a white border. And so I originally had thought I would just cut off all of those white borders and make it a totally flat all paper book. And then, because I always like to do my journals and my books a little bit extra, decided to, instead of just cutting off those white borders, to cover them with some of the beautiful ribbons and other trims I've collected over the years. Isn't this image magical? I love how it looks like that candle is actually glowing, and seeing that castle in the background, the Persian carpet that looks like almost a portal to another dimension. I had so much fun coming up with these. And tucked into the border on the bottom of this page, I put a genuine antique postcard. US postage 1 cent from 1902. So this is exceptionally old. Look at the beautiful handwriting. And that is a genuine piece, not a print. I just felt like all the gold goes with all the gold in the book. And then next we have another stunning inside of a tent, this time with all the pretty fabrics and borders in that gorgeous shade of blue. And in the pocket, her next outfit. And of course, there's something like a crystal ball in the center because I imagine her to be a mystic. A woman with fashion sense this exceptional has to have a secret or two. And so there's her crystal ball and maybe what might be a portal to another world. This might just be that other world. So we have her back in her bathing suit again to go through this mystic gateway to what looks like a stunning private beach. More kind of castle gates. Another inside of a tent, this time with these sort of interactive tassel trim elements, showing a really cool kind of paper lantern chandelier. And then this one we see this sort of a dragon eye dress. Really such a fun outfit for her. I really wish the camera or the upload format for YouTube was enough to show all of these tassels and all the drippings out of the sides of the book. Oh, I forgot to mention, in the other pocket on this page, I put a little set of old vintage cat stamps that I think are just so adorable. Every mystical woman needs her familiar, and cats, of course, have renowned psychic abilities and intuition, and of course so much love for their people. So she has these 4 cats. In the next page, I put a set of bridge scorecards just for fun. It's another vintage item here from, I think, the 1940s. The phone number only has 4 digits, and it's from Victoria, BC, so you know that that's a very old thing. And yeah, that can be added to junk journal projects or used to write shopping lists or whatever you'd like. It doesn't need to stay in this book. But on this beautiful spread, we see some mystical, magical, maybe horse stalls where the horses can live. And I was inspired to create that sort of a scene from this outfit that Kat painted that has such a cool handbag with an illustration of a beautiful horse in it. So yeah, here we can see her out for a walk. I love kind of the sandy, desertish ground, and I tried to mirror that in the color of the golden trim with just a little bit of some blue accents. But I love how that all comes out and just how her dolls pop against these backgrounds. If you decide to buy the printable kit that includes all of these background papers, plus the doll with all of the dresses that I'm showing here, I would absolutely love to see how you choose to put the book together and what you do with it. I'm very curious because I had a lot of fun making this one, but I'm sure there's, you know, these pages would look completely different depending on, you know, what kind of trims were put with them and how the borders are finished, whether or not curtains are overlaid on the image, as I did on this one. And this one I think is my favorite spread of all the spreads in the book. Just gonna put some trim under here to prop that up again. Yeah, I absolutely love how this one came together. So once again, we're looking at the inside of kind of a Bedouin tent, only it's made more in the fantasy style with the crystal ball and a warm, cozy fireplace. The dress that I thought went best with this image is this dress that looks just like fire. And she's fanning herself because look how hot she is. But yeah, I actually created the curtains for this one and a little curtain loop, and these actually come out, but I'm not going to pull them out right now, just since they'll take a while to put back in again. But yeah, that beaded trim and the curtains and this cool embroidered sort of gold floral trim. I cut all of this stuff off of a really beautiful kurta, or like a long Indian top that I found out thrifting. And of all places, it was in the costume section, like the Halloween costume section of a thrift shop. And when I saw it, I knew immediately this has to be included with these dolls because it just has that same sort of opulent vibe. I could imagine her dress would be made out of this kind of beautiful red silk. But yeah, I'd be very curious to see how other crafters might use these background pages or interpret the world of this paper doll. This is my favorite of all the dresses. As someone who loves the color purple and loves emerald jewelry, see how there's like an emerald right on her shoulder there? I just think this one is stunningly beautiful, and I love the way Kat has depicted that beautiful scarf that she's kind of draping behind her back, the layers of gold chains, and it's just gorgeous. So I felt that a dress that gorgeous deserves a stage. And so she stands on this beautiful rose quartz and gold opulent kind of a dream stage. If I had had this book, this exact book, as a little girl, it probably would have been my favorite toy. I can imagine myself as a little girl having so much fun with this. So some more architect. Okay, so the way I got the purple dress to stay in place was by hiding a dress in this pocket here. And I hid it kind of upside down so that the magnets on that would hold together with the magnets on this. But yeah, this beautiful blue and gold dress in front of this blue and gold background of what looks like a really cool tropical resort over a blue lagoon. And this dress also looks amazing on the pink and blue stage. It's funny, I'm not doing as much talking in this video as usual. And I think that's because these dolls are just so much fun to play with as I'm flipping through these dresses. Okay, this is another of my favorites. So Kat loves big cats, lions, tigers, cheetahs, and so do I. And so I knew I had to design a page with some lions in it. And they turned out kind of warped and strange because of the software that I used, but the colors still look so majestic and so opulent. And this particular outfit for the paper doll just really reminds me of the colors in a lion's mane. And so I took this really cool piece of broken jewelry. I think it's a broken earring in the shape of a lion's face, and glued some sari trim on the back to hide a magnet that enables it to be worn as a brooch for her. So look at how cool that is. She has some lion jewelry that she gets from her lion friends when she visits them. Don't they look cool? And I love that they're not in captivity. So I'd like to point out that there are no gates or fences. This isn't an enclosure. They're just kind of chilling in this palace courtyard in this border of beautiful, warm, crimped ribbon with gold trim. And there's also a magnet hidden under this pretty star-shaped cutout, and that's how the lion stays in place when he's not on her dress. Oh, okay, the next page is yet another tropical garden looking thing. This time with sort of hanging garden inspired sari trim dangles. So those can flip up if you want to see more of the actual image. But I kind of like the way they look hanging down too. So the lily pads, the fussy cuts out of some sari trim in a coordinating color. I think it's just so pretty. And then last but not least, we come to another mystical golden doorway. And I'm sorry, but this book just no longer lays flat, so I kind of have to pick it up. And the back page, FYI, if you decide to buy this from my Etsy shop, just be aware of the fact that this kind of got folded strangely because I didn't attach a separate cover. This kind of last page becomes the cover. So yeah, it got a little bit warped, but I think you can still see the idea behind how it's meant to look with her finding this mystical golden kind of a dresser or armoire in the middle of nature. And so inside this last little cupboard, she finds a friend. How cool is this little silk doll? So yeah, now she has somebody to play with who can also explore the mystical realm of the book with her. So this little cool doll doesn't have outfits that change, but luckily she's beautifully dressed. This was one of a set in some Happy Mail from Kat. So thank you so much, Kat. I decided to put one of those cool little figures in the mystical cupboard in this book because I feel like, especially if this goes to a little girl or to someone who's a little girl at heart who wants to actually play with her paper doll, it would be nice for the doll to have a companion. So there we have it, my newest little big creation. It's taken me a couple of weeks, not only because of all the fussy cutting of the dolls and measuring of the fabrics for the pages and such, but also because I really wanted this to be totally opulent with over-the-top decorations on each page once I decided to cover all the borders with fabric. But yeah, I hope if you buy this that you have as much fun playing with it as I had making it, or if you buy the digital printable kit, I hope that you have as much fun putting together your paper doll book as I did. And like I said, I would absolutely love to see what you made if anyone watching this chooses to buy the book. It would be really, really exciting for me. So yeah, tag me in your post if you buy this and make something from it. And meanwhile, just thank you so much for joining me in today's video and for watching as I've played with this paper doll. There we go, her magnet's attached. Last thing I want to mention, like I said, the cover got kind of warped. So if you do buy it, just be aware of the fact that the last page kind of sticks out awkwardly into the material here. And it can't even really be called a book now because it does not shut even slightly, even close, even at all. So it's more of an art piece. I would probably, if I were to keep this one, I would probably pick a page somewhere towards the middle and just kind of keep it permanently open and displayed to that page, maybe with a couple of crystals or paper weights down to hold it into place. But anyway, I still think it turned out really cool and that it will be a lot of fun for somebody to play with. I'd also like to point out, okay, so after putting all of this together, I wondered what it would be like to have them printed on glossy paper and a little bit bigger. So I sent the files to a local print shop and just wanted to show you this is how much the colors pop when you have it printed with laser instead of inkjet, or just with a higher quality printer on glossy and a bit bigger. So this is how they look on glossy, professionally printed paper. And this is how they look done with my very, very, very cheap inkjet printer just on matte cardstock. They still look good. I think they still look good. But have some fun, experiment with your materials. Oh, whoever buys it. I always like to wear a ring to match whatever project I'm working on, and that becomes yet another gift with purchase to whoever buys the journal. I'll have to take it off with some lotion later. Got a little warm filming, so it's stuck on my finger, but this ring here with all that gold filigree, it just looked like the kind of opulent gold that ornaments Cat's dolls' dresses. So there's a ring that you can wear to match the glamour and the luxury of your paper doll. Thanks again so much for watching. Happy crafting, happy paper doll playing if you decide to get these and play with them. So much love, and I look forward to seeing you next week when I do a flip through of an actual junk journal once again. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.